Hello, Namaste and welcome to my channel. Today I am here with new video of model questions and answers of next part which are asked in TSC examination of English, especially in secondary and lower secondary level. Today's question is related to teaching approaches, methods and techniques which are used in English language teaching. Let's start from the question number 1. What do you understand by project work? What are the advantages of using project work in English classroom? Give an example of project work that would be relevant to teach writing to secondary level students. This question was asked in TSC examination of English in 2079 for secondary level. Okay, let's see model answer. Understanding the project work. Project work in an educational context is a dynamic and student-centered teaching methodology where learners engage in extended, in-depth investigations of a real-world problem or challenge. Unlike traditional assignments, project work typically involves multiple steps, requires students to apply knowledge and skills from various areas, culminates in a tangible product or presentation, and often involves collaboration. It moves beyond rote learning to foster critical thinking, creativity, and practical application of learned concepts. Advantages of using project work in English classroom. Using project work in an English classroom offers numerous advantages, making it a highly effective pedagogical approach. 1. Integrates all four language skills. Projects naturally require students to use reading, researching topics, writing, planning, drafting, producing the final output, listening, understanding instruction, peer discussions, and speaking, presenting, discussing, collaborating. This holistic approach ensures integrated skills development, mimicking real-life language use. Number 2. Enhances motivation and engagement. Project work is often more engaging and motivating than traditional exercise because it allows students to choose topics of interest collaboratively and see tangible outcomes of their efforts. This sense of ownership significantly boosts their intrinsic motivation. Third, fosters critical thinking and problem solving. Students are typically required to analyze information, synthesize ideas, make decisions, and overcome challenges during a project. This process hones their critical thinking and problem solving abilities, which are essential 21st century skills. Fourth, promotes collaboration and communication. Many projects are group-based, necessitating in effective communication, negotiation, and teamwork among students. This develops crucial interpersonal and collaborative skills in an English-speaking context. Fifth, provides real-world relevance. Projects often connect classroom learning to real-world context and authentic tasks. This makes learning more meaningful and helps students see the practical utility of English beyond academic exercises. 6. Caters to diverse learning styles. The multifaceted nature of project work allows students with different learning styles, visual, auditory, and kinesthetic, to engage with the material and contribute in ways that suit their strengths. 7th, deepens content understanding. Extensive research and application, students gain a deeper and more lasting understanding of subject matter compared to passive learning. Example project, My Village, a descriptive report. Objective, to develop students' descriptive and report writing skill. Steps, divide students into small groups. Ask each group to collect information about their village, location, population, schools, festivals, natural beauty, etc. Give them to write a short descriptive report using headings and paragraphs. Help them with vocabulary, grammar, and editing. Ask them to present their report with pictures or drawings. Outcomes. Students practice writing sentences and paragraphs in context. Learn to use descriptive language, and organize ideas logically. Develop pride in their local identity while improving English. Conclusion. To conclude, project work is a powerful and interactive method of teaching English, especially writing skills in the secondary classroom. It encourages students to become active learners, improves their creativity, and makes learning English meaningful. For an English teacher in Nepal, especially in bright local contexts, project work is an effective strategy to motivate students, enhance language proficiency, and promote learning autonomy. Therefore, incorporating project work is not only beneficial but essential in 21st century English classroom. Let's move to question number 2. A novice teacher of English in a remote area of Nepal is curious to learn about the best method of teaching English in secondary level. As an ELT scholar of the post-method pedagogy era, present 4 critical arguments to support and encourage that enthusiastic teacher for better teaching and learning in his or her typical context. This question was asked in 2018 in secondary level. Okay, let's see model answer. Introduction. In the traditional approach to English language teaching ELT, fixed methods such as grammar translation method or audiolingual method dominated classroom practices. However, in today's globalized and dynamic educational context, especially in diverse and resource-limited settings like rural Nepal, rigid methods often fail to address learners' real needs. The post-method pedagogy, advocated by scholars like B. Kumara Vedivelu, promotes context-sensitive, flexible, and learner-centered approaches. For a novice teacher in a remote area of Nepal, embracing this pedagogy offers practical and empowering strategies. There are 4 critical arguments to support and encourage such a teacher. Here are 4 critical arguments to support and encourage you in your unique and valuable teaching context. 1. Embrace particularity. That is the universal best method, only context-specific effectiveness. The post-method era, accompanied by scholars like Kumara Vedivelu, emphasizes particularity. This means that effective teaching strategies must be sensitive to the unique context in which teaching and learning occur. A method that works brilliantly in an urban setting with abundant resources and highly motivated students might be ineffective in a remote Nepali school with limited materials, large class sizes, and diverse linguistic backgrounds. Argument. Instead of rigidly adhering to one pre-packaged method, you are encouraged to critically analyze your specific students, your local environment, and your available resources. Your best method will emerge from adopting and innovating based on your learners' needs, cultural background, and the socio-economic realities of your community. For example, if textbooks are scarce, leveraging local materials like folk tales, community events, or even songs in English can be more effective and culturally relevant than force-fitting a foreign-centric curriculum. 2. Cultivate practicality. Become a teacher as researcher in your own classroom. Post-method pedagogy empowers teachers to be more than mere implementers of pre-designed methods. It encourages them to be theorizers of practice. This means you can generate your own classroom-oriented theories by observing, experimenting, and reflecting on what works best with your students. Argument. In a remote setting, you possess unique insights into your students' learning styles, challenges, and motivates that external experts might miss. Don't be afraid to try out different activities, observe their impact, and refine your approach. For instance, if you notice students are shy to speak in large groups, experiment with peer work or small group discussions. Reflect on why some activities succeed and the others don't. You can use those insights to develop your own contextually relevant strategies. Your practical experience becomes a powerful source of knowledge. 3. Unlock possibility. Connect English learning to learners' lives and empowerment. The possibility parameter is in post-method pedagogy stresses that language learning should not just be about linguistic competence but also about empowering learners socially and critically. It encourages teachers to make learning socially relevant and personally meaningful. Argument. Even in a remote area, English can be a tool for empowerment. Connect English learning to your students' aspirations and realities of their lives. For example, instead of just practicing abstract dialogues, use English to discuss local environmental issues, health awareness, or opportunities for youth development in their community. Encourage students to research local problems using simple English resources and present solutions. This not only builds language skills but also fosters critical thinking and sense of agency, showing them the practical value of English beyond the classroom. Fourth, foster learning autonomy and active engagement even with limited resources. Many traditional methods are teacher-centered. Post-method pedagogy, however, champions learner autonomy, encouraging students to take more responsibility for their own learning. This is particularly crucial in resource-scarce environments where teacher-led instruction might be limited. Argument. Empower students to be active participants rather than passive recipients. Encourage peer-to-peer learning where stronger students assist weaker ones. Implement simple project-based learning where students collaborate using available materials. For instance, have them create simple English posters and about local events, interview family members in English where possible, or maintain personal English learning journals. Even without advanced technology, you can foster self-directed learning and intrinsic motivation by giving students ownership over their learning journey. In conclusion, in the post-method era, the role of English teacher is redefined not as technician following fixed formulas but as a reflective practitioner shaping learning with creativity, sensitivity, and purpose. For a novice teacher in rural Nepal, adopting post-method principles means respecting learning's realities, being flexible in approach, and becoming a confident, autonomous professional. By doing so, they not only enhance learning outcomes but also make English education truly inclusive, meaningful, and transformative. Okay, let's move to question number 3. Distinguish between text-based language teaching and content-based language teaching. Discuss how you would use an integrated learning method during English language teaching in the classroom. This question was asked in 2018 for lower secondary level. Let's see model answer. Introduction. In modern English language pedagogy, various approaches have been developed to enhance communicative competence among learners. Two widely adopted methods are text-based language teaching (TBLT) and content-based language teaching (CBLT). While both focus on meaningful learning, they differ in purpose and implementation. Additionally, using an integrated learning method in the classroom combines the strengths of various approaches to create a holistic language learning environment. We can see the differences in the following points. Distinction between text-based and content-based language teaching. First, on the basis or feature of focus, text-based language teaching (TBLT) focuses on completing tasks using the target language, whereas content-based language teaching (CBLT) focuses on learning subject content through the target language. On the feature of goal, TBLT language focuses on language development through real-life tasks, whereas CBLT focuses on acquisition of both language and academic content. Let's see example of TBLT: planning a trip, writing an email, conducting a survey, Similarly, let's see some examples of CBLT. Learning about climate change, history or science through English. On the basis of nature, TBLT is activity center and CBLT is subject center. The role of the teacher in TBLT is facilitator or guide. Similarly, the role of the teacher in CBLT is subject expert and language model. Using an integrated learning method during English language teaching in the classroom. Integrated learning in English language teaching ELT refers to an approach that combines multiple language skills, listening, speaking, reading and writing, grammar, vocabulary and even content areas rather than teaching them in isolation. This approach mirrors real-world language use where skills are rarely and separately. As an English language teacher in Nepal, I would effectively use an integrated learning methods through the following ways. The first, theme-based units. Strategy: organize lessons around engaging themes or topics relevant to secondary level students in Nepal. As for example, Nepali festivals, environmental conservation, our local heroes, career aspirations. Example, for a unit on Nepali festivals, students might read articles about Dasai, Tiyar or teach reading skills plus cultural content, listen to interviews with people describing their festival experiences or songs related to festivals listening skill, discuss their own experiences and opinions about festivals speaking skill, write an essay describing their favorite festival or report on how a particular festival is celebrated in their community, writing skills plus content knowledge. Vocabulary and grammar. New vocabulary is, for example, auspicious, reunion, customs, and grammar points is, for example, past tense for recounting events. Descriptive adjectives would be introduced and practiced within the context of these activities, not in isolation. The second way is project-based learning, PBL. Strategy: design long-term projects that require students to use all four language skills to complete a tangible product or presentation. As for example, a project title, Our School's Green Initiative. Students read articles and brochures about environmental issues and green practices reading. They listen to presentations or interviews real or simulated from environmental experts listening. They discuss ideas and plan their project, potentially interviewing school staff or community members speaking. Finally, they write a proposal, create a poster or design a pamphlet for their green initiative which they then present orally to the class or school writing and speaking. Throughout the project, vocabulary related to environment and sustainability and grammar structure for persuasion and explanation would be integrated naturally. Third way, use of authentic materials. Strategy: integrated authentic materials such as local news clips, short documentaries about Nepal, popular English songs, or real-life dialogues into lessons. Example, play a short English news clip about a local sporting event or a development project in Nepal. Students listen to understand the main idea and specific details is listening. They then discuss the content in peers or groups, expressing their opinions is speaking. The teacher can provide the transcript or related article for students to read for deeper comprehension or to identify new vocabulary reading. Finally, students might be asked to write a short summary of the news or a personal reflection on the event it is writing. This integrates all skills around a single authentic piece of content. In conclusion, both task-based and content-based language teaching methods have distinct strengths in promoting language acquisition. While TBLT emphasizes communication through real-world tasks, CBLT enhances language through meaningful content. By using an integrated learning method, English teachers can create an engaging and effective classroom environment that nurtures language proficiency, creativity, and critical thinking. Adopting such approaches is essential for developing confident and competent English learners in Nepal's diverse educational context. Okay, let's move to question number 4. As an English language teacher, what interrelationship do you find between the knowledge of content and pedagogy? Present your arguments both disciplines in order to become an effective teacher. This question was asked in 2081 for secondary level. Okay, let's see moral answer. Introduction. An effective English language teacher is not only someone who knows what to teach, content knowledge, but also how to teach it, that is pedagogical knowledge. These two areas, content and pedagogy, are deeply interconnected and must go hand in hand to ensure successful language instruction. Without one, the other becomes ineffective. The interrelationship forms the foundation of pedagogical content knowledge, PKC, a concept that defines a truly competent teacher. Arguments for each discipline to become an effective teacher. Arguments for importance of content knowledge. Content knowledge for an English language teacher encompasses a deep and comprehensive understanding of English language system, grammar, vocabulary, phonology, discourse, its literature and relevant cultural context. Its importance include accuracy and credibility, a strong grasp of grammar rules, correct pronunciation and appropriate vocabulary ensures the teacher provides accurate information. This builds credibility with students and prevent the propagation of errors. Example, a teacher ensures about the specific language of present perfect versus simple past might confuse students, leading to fossilized errors. Confident and comprehensive explanation. Deep content knowledge allows the teacher to answer spontaneous students' questions, provide nuanced explanations, and anticipate common difficulties beyond what the textbook explicitly states. As for example, when students ask, why do we say go to school but go to the park? Teachers with strong content knowledge can explain the nuance of articles with institutions versus specific locations rather than just saying it is an exception. Next is resourcefulness and adaptation. A teacher with broad content knowledge can draw upon a wider range of examples, authentic materials, and relevant cultural references to enrich lessons even when textbooks are limited. As for example, if the textbook's literary excerpt is culturally irrelevant, a teacher with strong literary content knowledge can select a more engaging and accessible alternative, perhaps linking it to a universal theme. Foundation for pedagogical content knowledge. Content knowledge is the raw material upon which pedagogical content acts. Without knowing what to teach, effective how becomes impossible. It forms the basis for understanding what aspects of the content are difficult for learners and how to break them down. Arguments for the importance of pedagogical knowledge. Pedagogical knowledge refers to the art and science of teaching, including knowledge of teaching methods, classroom management, learning theories, assessment, and student psychology. Its importance includes: first, effective lesson delivery and engagement. Pedagogical knowledge equips the teacher with strategies to present content in an engaging, comprehensible, and memorable way. It dictates how to structure lessons, manage time, and maintain student motivation. As for example, a teacher might know the rules of reported speech content, but pedagogical knowledge guides them to use communicative activity like a gossip game to practice it rather than just lecturing. Differentiated instruction and inclusivity. Teachers understand that students learn differently. Pedagogical knowledge enables them to adopt teaching methods, materials, and activities to cater to diverse learning styles, proficiency levels, and needs within the classroom. As for example, for teaching vocabulary, a teacher might use visuals for visual learners, audio for auditory learners, and physical actions for kinesthetic learners. Classroom management and positive learning environment. Effective pedagogy includes strategies for maintaining discipline, fostering a respectful and supportive atmosphere, and ensuring all students feel comfortable participating. This is crucial for maximizing learning time. As for example, knowing how to structure group work effectively to prevent chaos and ensure participation from all members. Assessment, design and feedback. Pedagogical knowledge is vital for designing valid and reliable assessments that accurately measure learning outcomes. It also guides the teacher in providing constructive, actionable feedback that genuinely helps students improve. As for example, knowing how to design a communicative speaking text rather than just a grammar drill to assess spoken fluency. Arguments for integrating both disciplines. Clarity in teaching. Content knowledge allows the teacher to deliver accurate lessons. Pedagogy ensures those lessons are student-friendly. Motivated learners. When content is taught through creative pedagogy, students remain interested and active. Balanced language skill development. Teacher can design integrated tasks to teach listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Personal growth. Teachers who blend content and pedagogy grow more confident, adaptive, and reflective. In conclusion, to become an effective English teacher, one must possess both content mastery and pedagogical skill, and more importantly, understand how to interweave the two. A teacher who knows English well but lacks delivery methods may confuse learners, while one with techniques but no depth in subject may mislead them. Thus, the harmonious integration of content and pedagogy ensures quality teaching and successful learning outcomes. It is this balance that transforms a teacher into an educator. To question number 5. In a classroom, a teacher of English teaches simple past tense using dialogues and encourages students to carry out practice using dialogues in pairs. Which approach to English language teaching should the teacher follow? What are the basic principles of this approach? Discuss. This question was asked in TSC examination in 2082 for secondary level. Okay, let's see model answer. Introduction. In English language teaching, methods that emphasizes active learner participations are more effective than rote memorization. In the given scenario, the teacher uses dialogues and encourages students to practice in pairs while learning the simple past tense. This reflects the communicative language teaching duality approach, which focuses on using language as a tool for real communication. Through this approach, grammar is taught in meaningful context, helping learners to develop both accuracy and fluency. Approach to be followed. Communicative language teaching duality. Duality emphasizes learning a language through interaction and meaningful communication rather than through isolated grammar drills. The teacher's use of dialogues and pair work is hallmark of this method. Identification of the approach. The method described in the question clearly represents the communicative language teaching duality approach. Duality aims to develop learners' communicative competence, the ability to use language appropriately in real-life situations. Basic principles of duality. 1. Communication is the primary goal. Language is learned for real-life use. Examples: students practice asking and answering questions about what they did yesterday. As for example, where did you go last Sunday? I visited my grandparents. Number 2. Contextualized grammar teaching. Grammar, as for example, simple past tense, is embedded in conversations. Learners understand form and use through meaningful examples rather than memorizing rules. Number 3. Learning by doing. Active participation through role-plays, dialogues, and interactive tasks ensures retention. Number 4. Peer and group work. Encourages student-student interaction, build cooperation, confidence, and reduces the fear of making mistakes. Number 5. Fluency before accuracy. Early stages focus on expressing ideas, grammatical refinement follows. Mistakes are treated as part of learning process. Number 6. Integration of skills. Listening, speaking, reading, and writing are practiced together. As for example, listen to a dialogue, read a similar one, act it out, write a new one. The role of teacher is as facilitator. The teacher guides and supports rather than dominates, provides constructive feedback after communication activities. Advantages of CLT in this context: makes learning interesting and relevant, develops confidence in using English, promotes collaborative learning, prepares students for real-world communication. In conclusion, the teacher's approach of using dialogues and peer work aligns perfectly with the principles of communicative language teaching. By prioritizing meaningful interaction and providing a context for language use, the teacher is effectively preparing students to be confident and fluent communicators in English. This method is particularly relevant for secondary level, where the goal is to bridge the gap between classroom learning and real-world language use. Okay, let's move to question number 6. Define context-based language teaching. Explain how students can best learn English language in Nepal. Well, answer. Context-based language teaching is an approach that emphasizes teaching language through real-life situations, meaningful interaction, and authentic use of language. Instead of focusing only on grammar rules and vocabulary lists, it integrates the target language into relevant contexts such as culture, environment, student experiences, and social practices. This method helps learners understand how language works in different settings, making it more practical and memorable. How students can be best learn English in Nepal. To effectively teach English to students in Nepal, a combination of context-based communicative and integrated learning method is highly effective. Here is how students can best learn. 1. Integrating local content and culture. Strategy. Use content that is familiar and relevant to students' lives instead of foreign examples. Base lesson on Nepali festivals like Dasai, Tiyar, local folk tales, social customs, and current events. Example for writing lesson: ask students to write an essay about how they celebrate Dasai. This provides a rich context and motivates them to use descriptive English words they need to express their experiences. Number 2. Using task-based and project-based activities. Strategy. Engage students in tasks that require them to use English to achieve a non-linguistic outcomes. This shifts the focus from language form to language use. Example, a project could involve groups of students creating a short radio program about a local issue, such as waste management in their community. This would require them to research, reading, interview people speaking and listening, write a script writing, and present it speaking. Number 3. Incorporating authentic materials. Strategy. Expose students to real old English through authentic materials relevant to Nepal and the wider world. Example, use a short news clips from an English language Nepali newspaper about a recent event or a popular English song to teach vocabulary and listening skills. This helps students see English as a living language, not just an academic subject. 4. Emphasizing an integrated skills approach. Strategy. Avoid teaching listening, speaking, reading, and writing in isolation. A single lesson should often involve multiple skills. As for example, begin a lesson by listening to a short dialogue, then ask the student to discuss it in pairs speaking, read the transcript reading, and finally write a summary or similar dialogue writing. 5. Adopting a learner-centered and facilitative role. Strategy. The teacher's role should shift from being a knowledge dispenser to a facilitator who guides students and creates opportunities for communication. The classroom should be a safe place for students to experiment with the language. As for example, encourage students to work in pairs or groups to solve problems or discuss a topic while the teacher moves around, providing support and correcting errors gently. 6. Providing regular and constructive feedback. Strategy. Give students specific and useful feedback on their performance, focusing on both fluency and accuracy. As for example, instead of simply saying, your grammar is wrong, a teacher might say, you used many good words, but remember to use the past tense when talking about the happened yesterday. In conclusion, the most effective way for students to learn English in Nepal is not through rigid traditional methods, but through a dynamic and learner-centered approach. By grounding instruction in meaningful local contexts, using authentic materials, integrating all four language skills, and fostering a communicative classroom environment, teachers can make English language learning a relevant, engaging, and highly successful experience for their students. Thank you for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more videos. And don't forget to press the bell icon